Hey everyone, Jessica here with another layout for Spiegel Mom Scraps. Use my code Jessica15 in the shop to save 15%. So I'm starting this layout off with some Minte chipboards. These are some Halloween ones, so I'm just cutting them off of the chipboard sheet with my X-Acto knife, and I am going to cut off a couple of these spider webs and then a couple of the bats. I'm actually going to do some heat embossing on them. So once I get them cut out, I am just going to apply the Versamark ink directly to these wood chippies, and then I'm going to sprinkle over some black sparkly embossing powder, and then I'll heat that up with my heat gun just to actually emboss it. So it's super simple to do, and I love to do this technique, but I don't do it very often. So I thought it would be perfect to do it with these little chippies, and I'm going to apply this Versamark ink like this, just kind of dabbing it on there and then sprinkling my embossing powder over top. So there's one little bat. I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of them. I'm actually using my ink pad just laying on my desk here and just kind of smushing around my chipboard pieces on top of the ink pad like this. I found that that worked best for me. And then I'm just sprinkling that powder right on top. I do pick this one up off of there and put the other one down in its place, just to kind of get around the sides and everything and get a good application. So I'm just getting all of those sides, making sure it's fully covered with that Versamark ink before I'm sprinkling that powder on. And then I'm just going to pick it up with my tweezers and heat it up with my heat gun here off to the side. And I love this glass mat for this because the glass mat, you can actually just place them right on top of the glass mat and heat right on top of it, and it's not going to hurt that mat at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat all of these up with my heat gun here and finish embossing these. And then I'm going to grab a kit from Not Just for Boys, and I'm also going to grab some elements from Elle Studio, like those little candy corn letters you see laying there. And I was going to do some stamping on this layout, but I actually didn't end up doing any stamping. So I'm actually just going to do a scrap lift challenge, which is by Paper Issues. They do a new scrap lift every week on Sundays, and I have chosen a scrap lift by Amanda Jane, and I am just going to pop that here on the screen so you can see what I'm scrap lifting. So there is the scrap lift that I have popped up on the screen for you. And I'll link her Instagram below for you so you can make sure that you're following her because she does some amazing layouts. So I have cut down a piece of pattern paper for my main strip there across my page like she did with hers. And then I'm pulling in my little spider webs and this spooky acrylic bit by Not Just for Boys Kit Club. So I think I'm going to place my bats up there, and then I am adding another little border strip here down at the bottom. This is actually from the other side of that pattern paper. So it just worked out perfectly that I had a couple of the 6x4 cards, and the pattern on them just went perfectly with this layout. So I've chosen that for my little border strip there, and I'm just going to put a whole bunch of embellishments on this. I'm going to do some splatters, and I'll add to my title. So my title is going to say Spooky But Sweet. And then this is some tissue paper that actually came in my memory decks that I'm working on, and this is what it was actually wrapped up in, and it was super cute, so I saved it. And I'm just going to tuck this in at the top, but I want to mark it off of where it needs to be before I actually start. Then I'm just applying a little bit of Nuvo glue, and I'm just going to rough up this edge by folding it back and forth, just tucking it in here to create another layer at the top of that pattern paper. So then my pattern paper is what's actually going to hold this down. So yeah, so I'm just going to keep embellishing this. I'm going to add a whole bunch of stuff to this, some splatters with some Distress Oxide sprays, and there's my 2 photos of my little guy and his Halloween jammies from last year, I think it was. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop that strip down on there because I know that's where I want that to go, and then I'll start building this up. I really liked Cassie's layout of this as well. If you go onto Paper Issues Facebook group, you can see her take on this as well, and I really liked how hers turned out. So I'm kind of following hers along with MJ's layout as well. So I'm just using both of them kind of as my inspiration. This little spooky acrylic actually broke in the mail when it was in transit. So once I glue this down to my page, I'm just going to put it back together, and you'll never know that it was 2 different pieces. So this little stamp here is one that I've pulled out from a stamp set that I have. I think, I was going to say it's by Visible Image, but I honestly can't remember which set it's from. So I'll have to look and link that below for you whenever I check and see what it's called. But for the most part, I'm just going to add a whole bunch of Elle Studio goodies. I'm going to do some stamping and some splatters, some little bits by Elle Studio. And then at the end, I will go ahead and add my favorite sequin mix from Spiegel Mom Scraps, which again, you can grab in the shop with 15% off with my code Jessica15. And again, I will link the shop link below for you too, so you have that in the description, and anything that you want to know of what I used on this layout, I will link all of those as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue building this up and just adding a bunch of things, and I'll pop some music in here and I will jump in again at the end of this layout to show you. So here is the finished layout. I just love how this one came together, and feel free to check out Paper Issues group where I got this scrap lift challenge from, as well as MJ's Instagram, which I'll link below for you. And again, if you want to grab that mix in the Spiegel Mom Scrap shop, I will link that below for you in the description as well. So thank you guys so much for being here, and thanks for watching today. I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.